Hey APUSH students, here's period 6 in just 3 minutes. Period 6 spans from 1865 to 1898. The Gilded Age saw the development of corporations like U.S. Steel and Standard Oil. These businesses were run by wealthy industrial capitalists like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. New business practices like the formation of trusts and vertical and horizontal integration enabled these companies to form monopolies. This was possible because of a string of Republican presidents who supported laissez-faire policies. Workers endured long hours, low pay, and poor conditions. This led to the rise of labor unions like the American Federation of Labor, who used strikes and collective bargaining to fight for change. But strikes like the Great Railroad Strike and the Pullman Strike were unsuccessful because the government sided with businesses. Unions were also blamed for Chicago's Haymarket Square riot. But during this time, there were some attempts to control businesses like the Sherman Antitrust Act and the Interstate Commerce Commission. New philosophies also emerged during the Gilded Age. For example, social Darwinism was the economic form of Darwin's survival of the fittest, while Andrew Carnegie's Gospel of Wealth argued that it was the duty of the wealthy to donate their wealth to fund libraries, schools, and community projects. Also, the social gospel movement aimed to apply Christian principles to the problems caused by industrialization and urbanization. This period also saw the rise of immigration and urbanization. Tenement houses were built for the poor and for immigrants who often settled in ethnic neighborhoods. While the antebellum period saw immigration mostly from Germany and Ireland, these new immigrants mostly came from Southern and Eastern Europe. And political machines like Tammany Hall often took advantage of these immigrants by trading services for votes. Nativism also increased, especially against Chinese immigrants who arrived on the West Coast, which led to the passage of the Chinese Exclusion Act. As Americans moved west under the Homestead Act, corporations also looked west. The Transcontinental Railroad was finally completed in 1869, connecting the east and west coasts, and railroads expanded across the west through government land grants. Mining and ranching were also set up in western territories. But the rapid development of the west had devastating consequences for Native Americans who inhabited these lands and led to the decimation of buffalo populations. And tensions exploded in the Plains Wars, which dominated the late 1800s. Tribes like the Nez Perce and the Lakota Sioux fought to maintain their ancestral lands and their autonomy. But the U.S. Army devastated these tribes at tragic events like the Sand Creek Massacre and at Wounded Knee. Despite the efforts of indigenous peoples like the Ghost Dance movement or their victory at Little Bighorn, these tribes were ultimately defeated. And the decades of government injustices against Native Americans was exposed in Helen Hunt Jackson's book, A Century of Dishonor. Meanwhile, assimilationist schools like the infamous Carlisle School sought to erase Native culture and force conversion to Christianity. And the 1887 Dawes Severalty Act broke up tribal lands, offering citizenship to natives who agreed to assimilate. Industry also expanded in the South. Atlanta journalist Henry Grady promoted what he called a New South, a South that was focused on economic diversity. Southern cities like Birmingham and Memphis built steel mills and lumber plants, while Georgia and the Carolinas built textile factories, and Virginia established tobacco manufacturing plants. And finally, period 6 saw the rise of the populist movement. Populists were mostly farmers who struggled with low crop prices and debt. Their Omaha platform supported the unlimited coinage of silver, a graduated income tax, and the direct election of senators. Their platform was adopted by Democratic candidate William Jennings Bryan in the election of 1896, where he gave the famous Cross of Gold speech supporting bimetallism, but he lost to Republican candidate William McKinley. Thanks for watching, and if you want more APUSH helps like study guides, timelines, and summary videos, make sure you check out the Ultimate Review Packet.